Hello and welcome to Thrive in 5. You know, it's been 12 years since we left the Bay Area as a family, and yet they keep sending us the Jewish paper. I don't know how they keep finding us. We've moved like 3 or 4 times here, but be that as it may, I noticed a headline that caught my eyes. It reads like this: Israel optimism? Question mark. Not in Thomas Friedman's San Francisco talk. Apparently, the well-known journalist kept apologizing during the talk for ruining people's lunch because he, quote unquote, preferred a decidedly unappetizing future for the Middle East. Now, why would Mr. Friedman do such a thing? I mean, it seems like a very not nice thing to do. I'd like to suggest because Mr. Friedman is a realist. You see, from the eyes of a Jewish realist, things are not looking terribly optimistic for the Jewish people. Forget about the fact that we live in a region filled with countries that want to see us gone. And we are suffering from another of a string of uprisings with rammings and stabbings. But if we zoom back at the world as a whole, we see journalists attacking us with their pens, BDS activists attacking our products on shelves, Jewish students feeling more and more insecure on campuses, and a United Nations that passes more resolutions against Israel, the Middle East's only democracy, than all the other nations of the world combined. Things are unfortunately not looking terribly optimistic from a rational and realistic perspective for the Jewish people. And I think for a good part of our history, this has been true, and it was certainly true in the year 138 before the Common Era, when a tiny band of unskilled, untrained Jewish rebels decided to take on the superpower of their age, the Greek army. Things were not looking optimistic for them either, and yet, in spite of that, they did it. And in the third year of their rebellion, they managed to vanquish that army and recapture the temple, rededicate the menorah, and light that flask of oil, which of course we light every year in our homes to commemorate during Chanukah. What we need to understand about Chanukah is it was not a rebellion simply between the oppressed and the oppressor. It was really a clash of civilizations, a clash of philosophies. The Greeks were the ultimate rationalists. They believed in what the mind could understand and grasp. They were the mathematicians, they were the philosophers, the architects, right? They were the scientists of the world. That's what they were interested in, what the mind could grasp, and nothing else. We Jews, on the other hand, although we also believe in the power of the human mind, believe in a concept called Kedusha, holiness, which is that this physical world has at its core a spiritual reality. And although it can't be measured or grasped by the human mind, it is not only the genesis of everything that this world has to offer, but it is far more powerful than what we can perceive. And by taking the Greeks on, by the Jews standing up to the Greeks who were persecuting us, particularly when it comes to our spiritual practice, we actually, in a very tangible way, demonstrated that deeper truth. We demonstrated that the human spirit is capable of vanquishing what appears to be a far more powerful foe. I think David Ben-Gurion put it best when he said that for a Jew to be a realist, he has to believe in miracles. And this isn't just true of Jewish history. It's true of really every single individual human being. You see, when we look at human beings from what our mind can grasp and what we see, we can oftentimes see very flawed people. We can see people with serious shortcomings. Sometimes they seem to be sick. They may have a chemical imbalance. They may suffer from a pathology. But you see, what our tradition teaches us is that in spite of the fact that we can't measure it, there is within every human being a spiritual reality, a core, a neshama, a soul, which is profoundly healthy and profoundly wise. And although we can't see it. We can, I think, see indications of it. If we look for it, we can see it in our children when they throw that temper tantrum and then 5 minutes later come back to us and tell us that they love us. Where does that come from, if not from the healthy core that resides within each and every one of us? When we light our menorah, we celebrate that part of ourselves, that part of existence, that miraculous peace. And we recognize it and we bring it out for the entire world to see, because it is truly a message of optimism, not only for us as a people, but for the world as a whole. Have a wonderful Chanukah, and we'll see you in about a month for our next Thrive in 5.